Greetings, Earthlings, and welcome back to another episode of the Versus series. Today we're putting the Blue Yeti up against the Samson G-Track Pro, and we're going to see which one is the best. So when it comes to the build quality, these two microphones are somewhat similar. They both have an all-metal body and they are a similar size, but the G-Track Pro is somewhat heavier. Both of these USB microphones do offer latency-free monitoring. The Blue Yeti has the monitoring permanently on, while the G-Track Pro has a switch on the back to turn the latency-free monitoring off. Both of the microphones have mic mute buttons, mic gain dials, headphone volume controls, and polar pattern selection switches. One significant difference here is that the Blue Yeti has 4 polar patterns, while the G-Track Pro only has 3. But in lieu of the stereo polar pattern on the G-Track Pro, you're gaining the ability to take a 6.3mm input and record 2 separate tracks in your DAW. Now let's get into the tests of these things. Now I'm speaking into the Blue Yeti with my input gain set at around 25% to hit levels of around -9 to -6 decibels. This thing will set you back around $130 when it's not on sale. It has a frequency response of 20 Hz to 20 kHz, a cardioid, a bidirectional, an omnidirectional, and a stereo polar pattern, a max SPL of 120 decibels, a bit depth of 16-bit, and a sampling rate of up to 48 kilohertz. Now I'm speaking into the Samson G-Track Pro with my input gain also set to around 25% to hit -9 to -6 decibels. This thing will normally set you back around $150 when it's not on sale. It has a frequency response of 50 Hz to 20 kilohertz, a polar pattern of cardioid, bidirectional, and omnidirectional, a max SPL of 120 decibels, a bit depth of 16 to 24-bit, and a sampling rate of up to 96 kilohertz. Now I'm spinning around the Blue Yeti on the cardioid setting to see what kind of polar pattern it actually has and how the audio changes as you move around the microphone's capsule. Now I'm spinning around the Samson G-Track to determine what the actual polar pattern is and how the audio changes as you move around the microphone's capsule. Now I'm speaking into the Blue Yeti on the cardioid setting, speaking into the G-Track Pro on the cardioid setting. Now I'm speaking into the Blue Yeti on the bidirectional setting, speaking into the G-Track Pro on the bidirectional or figure 8 setting, speaking into the Blue Yeti on the omnidirectional setting, and now I'm speaking into the G-Track Pro on the omnidirectional setting, and speaking into the Blue Yeti on the stereo setting. Now I'm banging on a keyboard with Cherry MX Blues directly behind the microphone to see how much of my voice versus how much of the keyboard it picks up. Now I'm banging on a keyboard with Cherry MX Blues to see how much of my voice versus how much of the keyboard the Samson G-Track Pro picks up. Now you can see that my gain is set at around 25% on the Yeti. I'm going to go ahead and decrease this to 0 and slowly increase it so you can hear the noise generated by the Yeti's preamp. %. 50%. 75%. And 100%. Now you can see that my gain is set at around 25%. I'm going to decrease this to 0 and slowly increase it so you can hear what kind of noise is generated by this thing's preamp. 25%. 50%. 75%. And 100%. Now I'm right on top of the microphone to see what kind of proximity effect we're able to get out of this thing. Now I'm right on top of the microphone to see what kind of proximity effect we're able to get out of this thing. Now I'm about 1 foot away from the microphone. Now I'm about 1 foot away from the G-Track, about 2 feet away from the microphone, about 2 feet away from the G-Track Pro, and about 4 feet away from the Blue Yeti, and about 4 feet away from the Samson G-Track Pro. Out of these mics, today we'll find out which one you should buy. Out of these mics, today we'll find out which one you should buy. So this Versus series was insanely difficult due to the discrepancy in features on these microphones, and that leads me to say that the winner really depends on your personal use case. If you're just deciding between these two microphones for spoken word or VoIP, then in that case, I think the Blue Yeti would be the winner because it does offer a more neutral frequency response and it's not boosted as much in the higher frequencies, which ultimately just makes it more pleasing on the ears. However, I do think the Yeti is slightly held back by its limited bit depth and sampling rate. But on the other hand, if you're doing spoken word, VoIP, and you want to do music, then I would pick the G-Track Pro 100%. And I say that because this is not just a microphone, it also has a 6.3mm instrument input, it has multi-track recording capabilities, it has a higher bit depth and a higher sampling rate, and additionally, the boost to the higher frequencies made the singing vocals shine more, it gave better clarity for the lyrics, and it provided better attack for the acoustic guitar. Alright guys, well that's going to wrap up this video. If you found it fun, interesting, or helpful, thumbs up. If you hated it, thumbs down. If you want to influence the gear that I review next, geeksrising.com/podcastage. You want more videos, logo beneath me, check out the Discord server, link in the description, and I will see you all later. Thanks for watching, bye!